So getting back into our coverage over Empire, we finally reached Empire #1, which is huge. Oh my gosh, because we covered so many preludes. But when it comes to Empire #1, it literally picks up where Empire Fantastic Four #0 left off at. Now remember, at the end of that video, the Fantastic Four were just trying to get back home. And matter of fact, they were close to Earth. They're about to head down to Earth. But when they arrived nearby the Earth, that was the moment they come to find out the Kree and the Skrulls are no longer fighting against each other, which is great because they have been fighting against each other for years. But of course, right now, even though they're working together, they're heading towards the Earth with an army full of ships. And so right now it's Reed freaking out because if the Kree and the Skrulls are working together, which is great, why are they trying to attack the Earth? What is about to go down? Now, of course, you do have Reed and Sue be parents and say, hey, Franklin, hey, Val, you need to leave. We're going to go ahead and send you down to the Earth because right now, this could be big and you could possibly get hurt. So we are going to go ahead and send you down. On top of that, we are going to give you the 2 kids that we just adopted from our last storyline. And so these 2 kids came from Empire Fantastic Four #0. When the Fantastic Four went to a casino, and that casino was being run by a character known as the Profiteer, who just loves making money. Well, what she did was she kidnapped these 2 kids, a Kree and a Skrull, that were grown in a lab to fight against each other, because she knows that if these 2 were fighting in front of a crowd of people, she would make a lot of money. And she did that. But of course, the Fantastic Four were able to save the kids. But either way, you do have Reed tell his kids to take the other kids from the casino and go down to the Earth where it's safe and sound and let the adults handle this situation. Now, you do have Susan Storm use her powers as a way to turn invisible so that they can get closer to the spaceships that belong to the Kree and the Skrulls because they want to learn what in the world is going on. But when they get close to one particular spaceship, that is the moment they come to find out who is in charge of this new empire that was made by Kree and Skrulls coming together. And they come to find out the person in charge is no other than Hulkling himself. Now, this is huge because remember, in our Lord of Empires Hulkling video, we watch him become the emperor of this new empire that was made by the Kree and the Skrulls coming together. Now, the reason why he was selected to be the one in charge is because he is half Kree, half Skrull. He is the perfect person to complete the peace between the 2 nations, or 2 empires, sorry. And so with that being said, he's the one in charge because he is half Kree, half Skrull. Now, of course, you do have Hulkling be informed that they were able to figure out there's a spaceship nearby, and that spaceship does not belong to them. And of course, that spaceship belongs to the Fantastic Four. And so even though with the powers of the Invisible Woman, of course, they were still founded. And so right now, the Fantastic Four are about to be brought into the Emperor's spaceship, and hopefully they can get some answers on why in the world the Kree and the Skrulls are about to attack the Earth. But then we pick up with the Avengers because we do get reminded that they are part of this event as well. But before we can actually pick up with the Avengers, I do want to explain what the Kree-Skrull War is all about. So the Kree-Skrull War, there was a storyline that Marvel gave us back in the 1970s that actually told us how the war even started. And so with that being said, a long time ago, the Skrulls were one of the best empires in the universe, and they would go around to different planets and offer those planets the ability to join their empire. And matter of fact, when they arrived to Hala, they were going to offer the Kree the same thing. The problem is though, when the Skrulls arrived, they found out there was a second race, the Katahdis, and the Katahdis are plant-like creatures. That information right there is very important. Now, of course, the Skrulls said, hey, listen, we can only take one of you guys. So let's have a competition on Earth's moon. And we are going to give you our technology. And you both are going to create something amazing. But of course, like in a competition, Only one can win and one must lose. And so you have both sides make great things. The Kree made beautiful buildings, but the Katahdis, they made a beautiful garden. And with that garden, the Skrulls loved it. And the Skrulls chose the Katahdis as the winner, which means that the Katahdis could join the empire of the Skrulls. But the Kree, they did not like that. They felt like they should have won. And so the Kree went ahead and killed off a bunch of Skrulls, and then they wiped out the Katahdis race completely, almost completely. But either way, with that happening, the Skrulls looked at the Kree as an enemy, and the Kree looked at the Skrulls as an enemy, and that led into the Kree-Skrull War. Now, while the Kree and the Skrulls were fighting against one another, you basically had other things happening across the universe. And one of those things was the birth of the Celestial Messiah. Now, this is huge because the Messiah was supposed to bring peace to the entire universe. But the problem was, though, the Messiah was supposed to be a half-human, half-Katahdi baby. Well, with the Kree wiping out the Katahdis race, it was kind of like, okay, so it can't happen. But then we come to find out there were some Katahdis that actually survived, and they were able to rebuild their race. Now, one of the Katahdis actually lived on Earth, and that right there is very important. And so back on Earth, there was another character known as Mantis, and Mantis was an Avenger, and she was also the human that would basically give birth to the Celestial Messiah. And so with that being said, on Earth, she was dating a character known as Swordsman, and her and Swordsman were a couple, but Swordsman died. Now, his death is very important because as soon as he died, you had a Katahdi that was on Earth took over his body. And so he was no longer like your regular human dead body. He was now a Katahdi's body. And so with him being a Katahdi now, and also Mantis, when they made love and made a baby, they gave birth to the Celestial Messiah, a half Katahdi, half human baby. And that baby's name is Quay or Quai. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but Quay is supposed to be the Messiah to bring peace across the entire universe. But that is why you have the Kree and the Skrulls right now coming to the Earth to take out the Katahdi. And so we can finally pick up with the Avengers, and we see the Avengers hanging out with Swordsman and Quay, because remember, we covered Avengers Empyre number 0. In that book, the Avengers learned that something was happening on the moon, and of course, it was a garden growing on the moon. But with that being said, they were confronted by Swordsman and Quay, and they told the Avengers what is about to happen. The Kree and the Skrulls are about to come here to kill us. And so the Avengers are like, okay, we are going to protect you guys because Quay, we watch you grow up. You're basically like our nephew. On top of that, Swordsman, even though it's a Katahdi that has taken over the body of Swordsman, you are still an Avenger. And so with that being said, we are going to protect you from them. And so when they arrive, don't worry, we got a plan to protect you guys from the Kree and the Skrulls. Now, when the Avengers look up, they do see that the Kree and the Skrulls have arrived. And of course, you do have Captain Marvel talk to the Kree because she is half Kree, half human. And she's hoping that she can basically talk the Kree out of attacking the Earth. But that is the moment you had the Avengers find out the Fantastic Four are on that same ship that Captain Marvel is talking to. And so you have Tony Stark, Iron Man, confused because he's like, wait, Reed, why are you guys on that ship right now? What in the world is going on? And so this is the moment you have the Fantastic Four find out what in the world is going on. Meaning that why the Kree and the Skrulls are no longer fighting against each other, but now working with one another because they're trying to wipe out the Katahdis. And so you have Reed kind of like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Also makes sense why Hulkling is in charge because he is half Kree, half Skrull, and they want to use him as a way to bring both empires together. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Listen, let's stop all of this right now because honestly, this all still sounds fishy. And matter of fact, you had the Avengers tell Reed and tell Hulkling that they're basically idiots, especially Hulkling, because they're like, Hulkling, how can you trust the Kree? How can you trust the Skrulls? How can you trust whatever they say? Because right now, they are technically bad guys to us. We have fought against them so many times. How can you believe what they're saying is true? That Katahdis need to be wiped out. Like, that is just crazy. And so you have Tony and the Avengers basically tell Hulkling and the Kree and the Skrull that if you try to attack the Earth, we will fight back. Now you have Susan ask Reed, what should they do as the Fantastic Four? And Reed, he has no idea because he's like, I don't know if we have all the information we need to actually make a decision here. We should all stop and actually talk it out. But of course, it's too late. The Avengers are about to fight against the Kree and the Skrulls. Now, you have the Fantastic Four try one more time to convince Hulkling that he needs to stop. Stop all of this. He has the ability to stop all of this. He's in charge of both the Kree and the Skrulls. On top of that right there, it could be the Kree and the Skrulls had basically tricked him as a way to help out. And so it's the Fantastic Four asking him one more time to stop this war before innocent people get hurt, before a lot of people get hurt. Stop this war. But of course, you have Hulkling say, no, I am going to continue on with this battle. So you can help me or get out of the way. And so with all that being said, it does lead into a big battle between the Avengers and the Katahdis fighting against the Kree and the Skrulls. It is a big battle. And of course, to the Avengers, they believe that they're in the right because the Kree and the Skrulls, the Avengers have fought against them so many times over the years in Marvel Comics. There is no way that they are good guys right now. There is no way that we should actually help them. And so with that being said, the Avengers really believe that what they're doing right now is actually the right thing. But we're going to learn that the Avengers are actually on the wrong side of things. And what I mean is you have the Avengers fighting against the Kree and also the Skrulls. But you have Tony Stark say, I have the ability to send a virus to shut down their main ship, to actually hurt them pretty bad. And so with that, Thor throws his hammer onto the ship that belongs to the Kree and the Skrulls. Now, Hulkling was able to stop the hammer, but on that hammer, Tony Stark put some kind of computer virus. And so once the hammer was on the ship, even though it was stopped by Hulkling, the virus was able to spread all over the spaceship. And of course, Tony Stark, he's all like, yeah, once again, I'm the man. I did it again. I made a virus to bring down your spaceship. It's over. We are about to win this battle. But of course, this is the moment the Avengers find out that they were the ones in the wrong. But that is the moment you have the Avengers find out that they are the ones in the wrong. Because that is the moment you have Quay reveal that when it comes to the Katahdis, their main goal is not to bring peace across the entire universe. No, their main goal is to make their own empire. An empire big as the Kree, big as the Skrulls. They want to have their own empire. And they are going to start with the planet Earth. And then they're going to move on to different planets across the universe. Especially the ones that belong to the Kree and to the Skrulls. But here comes a bigger problem. Because with Tony Stark shutting down the main ship that belongs to the Kree and the Skrulls, there were a lot of food on that spaceship. And that food, of course, was vegetables. And with the Katahdis being plant-like creatures, Quay is able to control those plants and use those plants against the Kree and the Skrulls. But then we come to find out they have a special kind of plant. And this plant, it basically powers up Quay. It makes them stronger. And so right now, it's Quay and the Katahdis going to war against the Kree, the Skrulls, and also the Avengers. And thanks to Tony Stark and the Avengers, they just helped Quay become even more powerful. And so now Empyre is about to be very, very interesting. And so with that being said, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.